Alright, hello, good morning, packmates. So, got another early morning. Got another model painting stream. And I've been really excited to do this one. I know I said that. I think I said that last time when I painted the Swarm Lord, but this one in particular is this one in particular I've been really excited for because I am going to be painting Ursula Creed, one of the brand new Astra Militarum models. Sorry. Wow. Sorry. Yeah, one of the brand new Astra Militarum models for Warhammer 40k. And there's some pretty important lore behind her with her father and the fall of Cadia. But I'll talk about that as I get started painting. So I primed her brown because her jacket is, well, I wanted to like paint her jacket mostly brown because you know how I usually prime the like primary color, whatever. I think I think that like the biggest color should be, and then paint the rest. Sorry, so I'm fully woken up yet. Huh. Where are my paintbrushes? Right here. Okay. what a bad time to lose my paintbrushes right as I start. Right. Okay. So Ursula Creed is the daughter of Lord Castellan Ursula Creed, who was at the fall of Cadia, which was this huge battle between the Imperium and the forces of chaos. The forces of chaos were led by Abaddon the Despoiler himself, because the fall of Cadia was the 13th Black Crusade. And that story is such an amazing story of guardsmen fighting for to save the Imperium and the rest of the galaxy from chaos. Because Cadia is the one planet in the entire Imperium where that has the biggest export of Imperial guards. Like, no other planet produces more guardsmen than Cadia does. So basically, a vast majority of the Imperium's military is from the planet of Cadia. Or at least it was. So Abaddon the Despoiler. Actually, no. We should probably talk about the planet of Cadia itself a little more. Because Cadia is. Well, actually. Actually, no. Um, the planet of Cadia is right in front of the Eye of Terror, which is basically a we should probably talk. Actually, no. I'll talk about like where the Eye of Terror came from first. Um, so during the like the expansion of humanity across the galaxy, which is like if I'm not wrong, it was like 30,000 years. Sorry, like 30,000 years before the current timeline of 40K. Um, and there was this and before that and after like before the Emperor's Great Crusade was the Age of Strife, which was caused by human psychers showing up for the first time, and then the birth of Slanesh, the Chaos God Slanesh, the near extinction of the Eldar. And the and the Eye of Terror is basically a big hole in the galaxy. How do I say this? It's basically like a breach. It's a big breach from the galaxy to warp space. Um, which was caused by the birth of Slanesh and the deaths of so many Eldar. And Cadia was right on the doorstep of the Eye of Terror. It is literally like right there. And it's for that reason that Abaddon the Despoiler led his 13th Black Crusade to Cadia to take it. Or at first it was to take it. I think he knew that was I think he knew that Cadia had the biggest export of guardsmen in the entire Imperium, but he probably just thought that they were just guardsmen. Like it was, he was probably thinking it's just guardsmen down there. We can take them. Which guardsmen are not to be messed with. Like, sure, guardsmen are just like normal people, but they are still soldiers. They are drilled to perfection. Well, okay, no, Cadian guardsmen specifically are drilled to perfection and trained their whole lives as soldiers of the Emperor. And there's this one guardsman named Lord Castellan Ursula Creed. Well, Creed. Because he wasn't always Lord Castellan of Cadia. Um, Creed was basically. I mean, since Cadia. Since the Eye of Terror is basically right behind Cadia, Cadia has had to deal with chaos invasions for 10,000 years, and it still stood after all this time. Or after all that time. And Creed, as a young child, lost his family in a chaos invasion. And he was found. And he was found in the ruins of his home. And immediately drafted. But he rose through the ranks so quickly that he eventually became a general. And at the fall of Cadia, when Chaos first arrived, he was immediately made Lord Castellan of Cadia because all of the major leadership of Cadia was immediately killed. Um, and the fall of Cadia basically when Abaddon arrived with the 13th Black Crusade, the first thing he did was launch a bunch of space hulks at the planetary defenses around planets in the Cadian sector. And a space hulk is, I don't know if I've talked about about what a space hulk is before, but it's basically a bunch of ships and other like debris that were just that went into the warp and just got mangled together, and eventually they're just thrown back out into real space as space hulks. And they can be the size of entire planets. They are enormous. And Abaddon launched a bunch of space hulks into the planetary defenses around Cadia and around Cadia, around planets in the Cadian system. And after that, hi Shizu, launched the Blackstone Fortress in the galaxy's biggest hissy fit. No, I don't think that was the galaxy's biggest hissy fit. I think the galaxy's biggest hissy fit was Slanesh arriving and immediately just devouring so much Eldar souls. But after all those space hulks crashed into the planetary defense and a few of the planets themselves, how's it going? I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Shizu. I'm doing good, Shizu. Welcome to the stream. I'm painting Ursula Creed. I think I'm gonna do a different color for that green. Shizu. Oh my god. I mean, I don't think you're wrong about Slanesh. But but anyways. But anyways, um after these space hulks after all the space hulks did the damage that they did, there was another ship. Uh, what was it called? What was it called? It was the Terminus S or the Plague Claw, one of those. Um, which was the flagship of Captain Typhus of the Death Guard, who are Chaos Space Marines that serve Nurgle. And what they did was unleash a bunch of plagues and blights on all these planets in the Cadian sector, and basically a lot of the people on those planets basically started like turning away from the Emperor and started like swearing their services to Nurgle, Terminus S. Okay. Um, that's right. The Plague Claw is like the fleet of the Death Guard. And the Terminus S is like the flagship of Captain Typhus. What was I saying? Oh, okay. So a lot of people on these planets that were being like blighted by these plagues started swearing their allegiance to Nurgle, like just in exchange for him and Typhus just stopping all of this pain and suffering. And just like that, Abaddon has a bunch of new armies, or has like a lot of more like a lot more cannon fodder. Hi. All right. Hi, mindfulness. How am I doing? I'm doing good. I woke up like about 2 hours ago. Welcome to the stream, mindfulness. Welcome. I'm doing a painting of Ursula Creed, one of the brand new Astra Militarum characters. And I don't know. I can go into a bit more detail. I'm also talking about the fall of Cadia. But yeah, welcome to the stream, mindfulness. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you're having a good morning. What was I going to use blue for? Oh, Ursula. Ursula is his daughter. All right, excuse me. Had to pop my neck. What else was I gonna do? All right. So after all of this, after Abaddon gets a bunch of new plague demons and poxwalkers from that used to be the people on all these planets that Typhus attacked. That was when the planet Cadia started getting ready for like a full blown war. And a bunch of guardsmen regiment and space marine chapters were deployed to Cadia. And there was this one very, very skilled and highly elite regiment. What were their names? Okay, no, they were called the Volscani Cataphract, I think. Something like that. But they were basically like. Is it safe to compare them to Tempestus Scions? Because I know they are. Yes, Trazen did show up. Trazen the Infinite. But I'm getting to that. Uh, and and oh, there's something very important between Ursula and Trazen too. But I'll get to that too. Um, and basically, all of these like highly elite cataphract guardsmen were given an entire welcoming parade because their skill and their training is probably the only training that could be even close to like what Cadians are usually put through. So the planetary governors of Cadia all literally held a welcoming parade for the cataphract, which as soon as they landed, they immediately flew the flags of the Black Legion because, as it turns out, they had all turned to chaos and they were now on Cadia. and and they immediately killed the planetary governors of Cadia and the major leadership of Cadia were all dead. And Ursula Creed was made Lord Castellan of Cadia because he immediately mustered a counteroffensive to just destroy the cataphract that betrayed the Imperium and attacked Cadia. And he just killed all of them because he is a badass. Um, and it was after that he was made Lord Castellan of Cadia. But what he did next was basically just go, no, no, to all of these space hulks slamming into things and all the plagues that Typhus was bringing. He basically knew a war, like a full-scale war, when he saw one. And he called in reinforcements from everywhere. everywhere he could, including a bunch of space marines, the and that included like the Black Templars, which were perfect for fighting chaos. And I'll eventually do a painting screen of like High Marshal Helbrecht, the Emperor's champion. Um, but a bunch of these Space Marine chapters, Titan legions, Night houses, and other guard regiments showed up. And it was also when Abaddon's army showed up. With, I'm pretty sure, every Chaos army that is in 40k. And I mean every Chaos army. The Black Legion, the World Eaters, the Alpha Legion, the Emperor's Children, which, you know. I, I don't even. I think. I have a feeling the Emperor's Children are, like, probably the only ones worse than the World Eaters. But that'll be for another. That'll be for another stream. But I am Alfarius, yeah. No, I'm Alfarius. I don't know anything about the Alpha Legion. I know nothing about the Alpha Legion. I don't know everything about 40k, but I do know about the fall of Cadia and how it was easily one of the biggest displays of strength from the Imperial Guard. The Angry Marines? Those are the World Eaters. Yeah. The World Eaters are Angron's sons. You know, the Primarch that literally had his Wait, what? It's okay not to know anything about the Alpha Legion. Odds are most of the Alpha Legion doesn't either. Oh my god, you know what? One of the things, one of like the meme items that's in Trazen the Infinite's vaults is literally 100% reliable 100% reliable information on the Alpha Legion. And that's a meme. That's a meme. I know it's not true. I don't even think Trazen knows anything about the Alpha Legion. But I digress. All of these Chaos armies against all of these Imperial armies. He's got a clone of Fulgrim. Oh yeah, I know about that. He's got a clone of Fulgrim that Fabius Bile just made for some reason. and immediately gave it to Trazen because he was like, maybe this is a bad idea. But Creed and all of the well, I was afraid that would happen. It's all right. I'll keep going. This is fine. But Creed and the rest of the Astra Militarum put up the fight of their lives against Abaddon and his forces. And eventually, so yeah, Abaddon has this thing called the Blackstone Fortress. Oh my god. And basically what it is it has a Death Star cannon. I think I talked about this when I painted Abaddon, but that was back when I was streaming on YouTube. Um, Basically, it is a planet-killing space station, like a Death Star, of unknown origin. Not Necron based. Maybe the old ones, but we don't know for sure because no one ever knows for sure. For the uninitiated, it looks kind of like, I don't know. I do not know how to say that word. I haven't seen Stargate. And oh god. And basically, the Blackstone Fortress the Blackstone Fortress um is capable of destroying an entire planet with its giant gun. That's in the center of its rotating pylons. And if you put 3 of them together, you can actually supernova a star with them. So yeah, it's pretty devastating. And Abaddon on the ground. Wait, no. No, before he went on the ground to fight. Um what happened was, okay. What happened was Abaddon was about to fire the giant cannon at Cadia and just cleave it in half. But then and while the planet's void shields were offline, and then suddenly they just immediately came online and saved Cadia from the giant cannon of the Blackstone Fortress. And it turns out the only reason the shields were like just came online was because Trazyn the Infinite, the Necron overlord, Trazyn the Infinite, arrived and basically just powered up the shield generators with his canoptic scarabs, which are 100% useless in game, but I guess they're like good at fixing things, I guess. I don't know. And he basically said, Trazyn the Giga Chad. Oh no, Trazyn is also a son of a bitch. If you know, flip the on switch. Exactly. Um, and after that, he told both Creed and Belisarius Cawl, the Archmagos of the Adeptus Mechanicus, about these weird alien pylons that are all over Cadia, that were built by the Necrons to actually keep the Eye of Terror from spreading and just like letting chaos have full reign over the galaxy. And what Trazyn did, it was after this. It was after Trazyn arrived that Abaddon went down to the surface and started fighting everyone. What Trazyn did was actually switch on the pylons too, and that was when the Eye of Terror started shrinking. And so and so like all the demons on Cadia and all the forces of chaos start to die off because the Eye of Terror is like the biggest gateway from chaos into real space. And but during during that whole thing, Saint Celestine, who is this whole other badass from the Sisters of Battle, um, Celestine is called like a demon of the Emperor because she is almost a full on demigoddess. Um, and her power supposedly comes from the warp. So when the warp starts to so when the Eye of Terror starts to shrink, while Celestine is fighting Abaddon, um, and you know what? During that whole little fight with the Living Saint, yeah, she's called the Living Saint because she dies over and over again and comes back. Like during the Sisters of Battle uh, time of need. Sorry. So while Celestine is fighting Abaddon, and while Trazyn is also fighting Abaddon, um, so yeah, Celestine and Trazyn fighting Abaddon together. Um, Celestine's wings just like turn off because the Eye of Terror is shrinking, and she gets like really really weak and is basically powerless to do anything because her power comes from the warp. And Abaddon is about to kill her when Creed when Creed shows up and immediately just I don't know exactly what he does. I think he like shoots at him a couple times and he like lands a blow with his power sword. Um but but Creed immediately gets his arm just cleaved off by Abaddon because Creed's just a normal person and Abaddon is this absolutely horrifying chaos Terminator guy. um but but while Creed was distracting him, Celestine actually stabs him right through the gut with her sword. And then Abaddon immediately teleports back to his ship, the Vengeful Spirit. And and during and during that time, the Imperial Fists showed up with the Phalanx, which is the size of a moon, and it's like the Phalanx is this giant cathedral spaceship. That is that's the main fortress monastery of the Imperial Fists chapter of Space Marines. And what they decided to do to stop the Blackstone Fortress was ram it. they the Imperial Fists straight up rammed the Blackstone Fortress and completely disabled it. Like the Blackstone Fortress reactor goes critical, and and the the main planet killing gun is offline. And for all intents and purposes, the Blackstone Fortress is destroyed. Like it's unusable. Um, and Abaddon, after he retreats back to his ship, uh, they didn't have a Sargeras? I don't know what that is. Um, but But while the Eye of Terror is still shrinking, and at this point, Abaddon is losing the battle. Chaos is losing the battle for Cadia. And since his planet killer is disabled, um after that, what Abaddon decided to do in World of Warcraft, the Mad Titan Sargeras destroys a planet with his sword. Whoa! That is. Wow. That is big. That is very big. Um, but after the Imperial Fist disable the Blackstone Fortress, since Abaddon is losing the battle, what he decided to do was have a bunch of his ships straight up ram the Blackstone Fortress and push it into Cadia. And the Blackstone Fortress is probably like half the size of the Phalanx, but it is still giant. Metal as hell. Yes, exactly. Oh, everything about 40K is just so metal. I love it. um and that was basically like when the Blackstone Fortress crashes into Cadia, the planet begins to crack. And that's when it was destroyed. And Creed. Okay, here's why I love Creed. He's missing an arm because he 1v1'd Abaddon. And he has a bunch of gunshot wounds in everywhere. It is everywhere. And he's like pushing people onto Valkyries and like star cruisers to get them off world. And he evacuates 3 million people off of Cadia before it is destroyed. But he doesn't board one himself. I guess he like couldn't fit onto one or whatever. but he stays behind on Cadia. And he's laying on the ground, bleeding and dying. And that is when a large metal figure stands over him. And I kind of feel sorry for Creed at this point because he's such a badass and he like deserves like the honorable death that he deserves for holding off Abaddon at this point. The captain goes down with his planet. Exactly. Because he was willing to die there right then. But then Trazyn, being Trazyn, basically just said, "It is not your time, Lord Creed. Eternity awaits." And now he is in. Creed is in Trazyn's Solemnance Gallery. And he's, of course, considered MIA. He's considered MIA, but he really should be considered in... Wait, no. He should be considered... He should be considered ITG in Trazyn's gallery. And I think Trazyn, if I'm not wrong, I think he actually wanted to capture Abaddon and put him in the gallery. That's true. He only chooses the best for his library. I think he wanted to capture Abaddon, though. Probably because he was the leader of Chaos. I mean, he's the leader of the Black Legion. But But here's the biggest thing. This is why I like Guardsmen so much. Here's the biggest thing. This is why I love Guardsmen so much. So the planet of Cadia is falling to pieces. The planet is in pieces. But there are reports that there were still guardsmen on fragments of the planet. On fragments of the planet. I am sorry, I can't talk this morning. Uh, there are still guardsmen on fragments of the planet as Cadia was reduced to rubble. That they were still fighting off the forces of chaos as the planet crumbled. And that is when the guardsman, every guardsman knows the phrase, the planet broke before the guard did. And that, when I first heard about the fall of Cadia, and it's when that where that phrase came from, that is literally all I need to know. The planet broke before the guard did. There is also Cadia stands, and that refers to that there are still like Cadians. So yeah, Cadia is destroyed. The Eye of Terror. What happened after Cadia got destroyed was the Eye of Terror, since Cadia was the only thing holding it back. Sorry. The Eye of Terror just spread open. I'm surprised they had the balls to pull off blowing up Cadia in canon. Well, when you think about it, um, what happened after Cadia was destroyed was the Eye of Terror just grew open. And that is when the. Oh god, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. That is when the Cicatrix Maledictum. I think I got that right. That's when the Cicatrix Maledictum arrived. You could also just call it the Great Rift. and what the and what that is, what the Cicatrix Maledictum is this giant rift in the galaxy. On one side is the Imperium Sanctus, which is where Terra and Mars and Ultramar and basically all the like important planets in the Imperium are. And on the other side is the Imperium Nihilus. And that's called I think it's also referred to as the Dark Imperium. A giant terror across the fabric of reality that burns real space and warp space. Yeah, exactly. It's one big warp storm that you can't cross through warp space. And on the other side, basically all the planets on the other side of the Great Rift are now cut off from the Imperium, from Terra, from the Emperor's Light, and they are all on their own. And as far as I know, though, I think it's just one big rift between those sides of the galaxy. I don't think the other side of the galaxy is another giant warp storm like in the Age of Strife. The lack of ability to communicate with planets on the other side of it. The light of the Astronomicon can't even penetrate it. Yeah, all those planets are just cut off from the rest of the Imperium. I don't think they're cut off from each other, though. I don't think it's one big warp storm that just covers one half of the galaxy. But A few months after I think a few months after the fall of Cadia. Let me just take out the codex really quick. I'm finally getting to talk about Ursula, guys. You know, the one I'm painting today. Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. Before I get to her, though. So, map of the galaxy. Okay, so here's the Eye of Terror over here. There's the ruins of Cadia. See, the Eye of Terror is right here. And all this red, that's the Cicatrix Maledictum. That is the giant rift in the galaxy. And here we go. Alright, so Lord Creed had this really big coat that he wore. Which codex is it? Oh, okay. This is the 9th edition Astra Militarum Codex. This is the one that just came out. So after the fall of Cadia, Ursula Creed, Ursula Creed's daughter. You know what? I'll just read this quick passage about her. Though Cadia's valiant regiments are spread wide, some constants remain to anchor its soldiers amidst their far-flung wars. The declamation of Cadia stands is one. A Creed as Lord Castellan of Cadia is another. Ursula Creed is her father's daughter in many respects, a hardened general, physically imposing. Creed stands as a symbol of Cadia's survival, even though Cadia didn't survive, exemplifying her people's unbowed spirit. Ursula's rise to senior command was not the meteoric ascent of Ursakar, but it was grindingly unstoppable. She restlessly demanded swift redeployment in the wake of victory after victory, forging her own legend. Where is it? I just lost. Okay. Forging her own legend as a strategist of incredible intuition and ruthless determination. She's a badass. And this is her. So her father, Ursula Creed, had this big trench coat. Here's another thing about him I like. So if you're on Cadia and you're like a very high-ranking officer, like a general, you are clean. You are as clean as you can be. There is like no speck of dust on your boots. You are you do not have a speck of dust on your boots. You do not have a hair out of place. You don't have a wrinkle in your jacket, and if you do, you are going in the stocks. You need like there's literally a line from an Inquisitor. This is Cadia, fool. It's Cadia, fool, and you need to look the part. And Creed has bad breath, and he smokes cigars, and he wears a dirty trench coat like this one. And this last paragraph in this passage about Ursula, we got a girl boss. Yeah, she is a girl boss. Oh, you can be executed. Wow. All right, didn't know that. Actually, no. In the Imperium, you can be executed for anything. Have you read the Imperial Guardsman's Infantry Primer book? Oh, no. I haven't read it myself, but I know what it's about. Alright, so this last passage about Ursula. Over her broad shoulders, the new Lord Castellan wears what some assume to be a recreation of her father's great coat, for surely it perished with him. Ursula, however, knows it to be no fake, appearing in her sealed chambers months after the loss, dried blood and the smell of Cadia's final hours saturating the heavy fabric. It fired an obsessive hope in her that somehow, somewhere, her father yet lived. So if you remember, someone named Trazen the Infinite was at Cadia, and he captured Creed for the gallery, for his gallery. Here's the thing with Trazen. I don't think I don't think there's one reason why he did that. Cuz what it did was embolden Ursula to like keep fighting because oh my god, dad's out there. Trazen the Infinite, who dat? You're the one who first said. No, never mind. But what am I about to say? Oh, yeah. But Trazen, what he really likes to do is make history, and whether he did this to like screw with her or embolden her, what it did was definitely like embolden her because she is out there fighting for the emperor and for her father, which is she is a badass. Guardsmen are easily one of my favorite factions in 40k. Which makes me sad that they all hit with their weapons on 4s. I mean, okay, so okay, no, I'm gonna okay, so let's take a look at Ursula's data sheet. Alright. Ursula Creed. Movement, 6 inches. Weapon skill and ballistic skill are both 3 up, meaning she can hit with her weapons. Alright, weapon skill is melee weapons, and she hits on 3s, and ballistic skills is like shooting, and she also hits on 3s there. Her strength and toughness are both 3, but that's because she's just a but that's because she's still just like a normal person. IG are kind of the Space Marines at home for if you're just starting 40k. Like the old 4th edition Apocalypse rules for Tyranids, bodies over bullets. Yeah, it's the same for orcs. Yeah, I have 4 squads of guardsmen. I have 4 squads of Cadian shock troops, and that's 40 dudes. That is 40 models. They literally look like those green army men that you would have had as a kid. But let's see. Miss playing orcs. I don't. I hate fighting orcs. But here we go. All right, so her weapons. RPing while playing orcs is the best shit ever. I agree. All right, so Ursula's weapons: duty and vengeance. These are the pistols she has on her waistband. And she has a power sword. Because yes. Alright, abilities. Lord Castellan's Fury. Each time this model issues an order to a unit until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the strength characteristics of that attack. Oh. Oh, that would have helped me out a few. That's another thing about guardsmen. You have to read through this codex a lot to use them at their full at their full potential. But she also has a refractor field, which is a 5-up invulnerable save. She has tactical genius. While this model is on the battlefield, you can use the command reroll stratagem up to twice per phase instead of only once. Alright. I dig. Senior Officer Aura. While a friendly Astra Militarum core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. I'm pretty sure you can only do that once. And let's see. She is also a warlord. And if I can remember which page. Here we go. Alright. Name characters. Ursula Creed. Master Tactician. Warlord trait. After the start of the first battle round, you can select up to three friendly Astra Militarum units, excluding Titanic units. Remove those units from the battlefield, then set them up anywhere on the battlefield that is wholly within your deployment zone. If the mission you are playing uses the strategic reserves rules, you can place any of those units into strategic reserves instead. So basically you can just redeploy 3 units before the game starts, after deployment, which is huge. So yeah, that's the fall of Cadia, that's Ursula, that's everything. Short stream. I really don't have much else to say. Ursula's ability, Ursula's double command reroll ability is pretty nuts. So is her warlord trait. But yeah, that's honestly all I got. I'm pretty satisfied with how this turned out. I wanted to go into more detail, but this is such a small mini. Sounds like a grand old time. It is. It is a grand time. And the game's fun. Playing Guardsman is fun. And it's so satisfying if you can actually pull a win off. Like, it is really, really satisfying if you can win a game with Guardsmen. Because they are a very hard army to play. You have to use everything the Codex gives you. Which is how it should be, honestly. And that's honestly all I got. So, everyone, thank you so very much for coming and hanging out. I know I only went for an hour and 12 minutes, but there's not much of a. I'm satisfied with this. Oh god, I wish my webcam quality was better. um but yeah, I'm glad I get to do this. I am almost to 100 followers. I'm so excited about that. Thank you for so much for being my background noise and 40k chatting while I worked on comms. Oh, that's right. That's right. I saw that you were starting comms, Shizu. Um, well, congratulations. I hope that works out. And I'll be live Friday morning. Oh my god, 6 to go. Wow. That sounds like a lot of work, honestly. Well, I mean, you do what you gotta do, right? um, but yeah, I hope that works out, Shizu, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their day. I'll be live again on Friday at 8 a.m. CST, same time, and I'll be playing some more Mass Effect 2 instead of Warframe. I've been playing Warframe for a whole week, a whole 2 weeks actually. But yeah. Oh, okay. You meant my followers. All right. I was about to say, are you really working on 6 comms at once? Um, but yeah, I'm only 6 followers away from 100, well, followers, and yeah, I can't thank everyone enough for that. But be sure to check out my Twitter and join my Discord with the !Discord command. And be sure to stop by for my next stream Friday morning. And let's find. And let's find someone to raid. Let's see. Oh. Okay. All right. All right. All right. We're gonna raid Tori, who's playing Dead by Daylight. Oh, Alistair. I really hope I don't butcher your name. Alistair Aoki and Yilister. Ugh. I really don't want to butcher your guys' names. Yilister? Yilister Games. Okay. Thank you both for the follows. I really appreciate it. Dang ads. I know. I'm sorry. All right. But you actually just followed right as I was about to right as I was about to end, and I just typed a raid message in chat. Oh, they're all you? Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks, Shizu. All right. So, typed a raid message in chat. Be sure to copy it. And let's start the raid. All right. We're raiding Tori. She's playing Dead by Daylight. And she's another one of the first ones that I've started watching, along with Spook and Kaiko. But I will pull up her stream really quick. Well, I'm gonna pull up her stream for myself. Let's Let's see. Oh god. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's. All right. Let's start. Thanks for keeping me entertained. Thank you for stopping by. Mindfulness. I really appreciate it. And let's raid. Let's raid. So thanks everyone again. And let's do this.